to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
This is actually like another game night show, right? So
yeah,
we
love our game night shows, don't we?
Yeah, trying to keep track of games while we're trying to shoot the shit.
Well, we're lucky because I can't access tonight's game through Hulu because
Right.
I was slightly considering watching it with like the sound off while doing the podcast, and like we're just in the middle of like say something, I'm like, ah, shit.
Damn it, Goody.
Yeah. Hey, you're probably right.
You're probably right. So yeah, we're playing the Canadians right now, so it's going to be another one of those shows where we're like scoreboard watching as we're talking.
Yeah. Nothing better than a good scoreboard watching.
So, oh yeah, I gotta love scoreboard watching. And you gotta love scoreboard watching when you're betting on games too, right?
Of course, especially, a night like tonight. We got Titans Packers. Should be an interesting game.
Yeah. We're going into Cappy Keepers, brought to you by DraftKings.
Yeah,
and I mean, we may not look like it, but like we're football fans too. I mean, come on.
Gigantic football fans. You're a big Bengals guy. I'm a Bears guy. We have one thing in common, which is former Ohio State quarterbacks at the QB position and bad offensive lines.
That's two things, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're like, so the season is what, like in the middle of the pack now? Like we're going into
week 11.
Week 11, okay.
Most teams have had their buys. Some have their buys come up soon. But yeah, we're getting into the nitty gritty. We kind of know which teams are what, and some teams are competing. Well, playoffs.
Well, with DraftKings Sportsbook, which is the official NFL betting partner, if you are a new customer and you bet $5 on any team to win, you can get $200 in free bets.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, I don't know, what's a good matchup this week?
Here's a good one. Okay, so we just learned today that Browns-Bills is going to be played in Detroit. Now, this gives the Buffalo Bills a significant advantage because Buffalo, outside of Josh Allen, not very good at running the football, while the Browns actually very good at running the football with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So we were thinking the last few days, like this might be a low-scoring game. Browns might have a chance because they're expecting 3 to 6 feet of snow. Now with it being moved dome, gives the Bills a huge advantage. I expect the Bills to win this one. They're favored by 7.5. I'm telling you right now, I would take the points. I would definitely take the Bills to get over that amount.
Pretty big over on that?
Pretty big over, man. I think that might be a blowout.
Well, I mean, everybody, you get a chance to get a boost on that with a same game parlay as well.
Yeah,
so you can combine your bets.
Is the way to go. They really are.
Combining bets is always kind of fun too. We obviously can't use DraftKings quite yet. We're in a state that doesn't offer it.
Well, January 1st, and I will be sure to take advantage of that.
I don't know if I will. Yeah, I've never really had an experience with sports betting, so.
I love sports betting. It does not love me back, like most gambling that I do.
But yeah, you can get bigger payouts with your same game parlay if you bet on, the over for the Bills and let's say Chubby to score a touchdown. Right?
Absolutely. Which seems like a very good bet. Nick Chubb to get at least one touchdown and the Bills to win. That seems like a surefire lock.
A surefire payday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code THPN and place a $5 pregame money line to get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL with THPN.
Yeah.
And obviously the minimum age is required, and We have all that stuff linked in the description for you, all the disclaimer kind of stuff. But Kepi Keepers.
Kepi Keepers. Do we have any bets on Kepi Keepers?
I don't know. I'd probably put the over-under on a surprise at a 0.5.
Yeah, because every week or every time we do Kepi Keeper, it's like, how can we find a way to get a surprise one in there?
Yeah.
Unless Johnny's scoring 3 points and Vanya's getting a couple goals, or goalie's getting a shutout. We're always looking for those. Maybe
I don't know about the goalies getting a shutout, except it's
well, future. Get one this year, right?
I would hope so. I don't know. So I went last time, so I got to lead off.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with the kid. I'm gonna go with Marcus Bjork.
You see, I like that pick a lot.
Yeah.
Not just because he had the assists and is a point per game player in the National Hockey League. I will repeat, Marcus Bjork is a point per game player in the National Hockey League.
How awesome is that?
He got promoted to top pair. This guy was playing in Cleveland last week.
He's top pair tonight with Gavrikov. How awesome is that?
It's incredible. So
I feel bad for Peaker because he's all the way down on the bottom pair right now.
Right, which I think is kind of a corresponding move in the sense that Bjork had a really good game, and I think they might be putting Peak on a third pair to limit him, like almost like a pitch count, because he got hurt. So I think
he was tweaked up, yeah. So shelter his minutes a bit.
Yeah, shelter his minutes, but we still want you in the lineup. So I really like this move, and I like this pick by you because Marcus Bjork was outstanding in that game, and he's been fantastic these first 2 games.
We got a new Swedish chef on our hands in here.
Oh, well, hopefully he does not deliver any spicy meatballs to the other team.
We definitely, I feel like the PA crew, like in Nationwide, the video crew.
Yeah.
Whenever Marcus scores anything, they need to just throw Swedish chef graphics up on the screen.
Yeah. Meatball.
They just play the popcorn dance, right?
Yeah. No, I love that pick. I'm struggling here because I don't think I've ever picked an entire line.
Oh, really? Is this? Oh, you're going Laura on us? Okay.
And
which, by the way, can I just give a quick shout out to Jeremy and Laura again?
Yes, of course.
Because outstanding. Oh my God, we love you guys.
They were fantastic. For sure, we'll be back.
Oh yeah,
love them to death. But let me tell you, man. I'm gonna give the Kepi Keeper to the 4th line.
The whole 4th line,
The whole 4th line.
What was the 4th line yesterday or the other day?
It was Olivier, Corrali, and Robinson.
Okay, so the same as tonight. Okay.
They brought everything that I want to see from a 4th line. Obviously, Olivier's physical.
Yeah.
He hitting everything in sight.
Robbie and Curls are fast as fuck.
Corrali had a lot of bite to his game.
He always does.
Yeah, but like even more than usual. Like he was really throwing his weight around, and then Robbie
scored
fast as fuck. Yeah, so a little bit of a fortunate bounce with that first goal by Corrali, just kind of throwing it at the net. But you get fortunate there. But then, Jenner, who had 2 goals, who certainly could have gotten a Kepi in this.
Vlad could have gotten one.
He scores to make it 3-2, and then 13 seconds later, you're in the offensive zone, you're attacking, and that 4th line gives you a 2-goal lead with Robinson right in front, finding a way to put the puck past Hart. They were fantastic the entire night. They were physical. They were all over the place. They were noticeable. Loved what I saw from them, and they were a big part of getting that game to overtime for Gavrikov to win that game.
And that's Kepi Keeper, sponsored by DraftKings.
Yeah.
So yeah, just remember, go in the description. You'll have our disclaimer stuff in there. And,
but I am going to follow the actual rule, and I'm just going to pick Eric Robinson.
just to put it on the chart. Okay, so Robbie and Bjork. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, description. Use promo code THPN when you sign up for DraftKings, and you get your bet money.
Yeah, baby. You could bet on the Canadians to win and Josh Anderson to score tonight, except Cole Sillinger just made it 1-0.
Attaboy, silly.
Let's go.
Definitive second line center, Cole Sillinger. Okay, so the Islanders game kind of
I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't mind that game.
I mean,
there's a lot of things I like in that game for a team that was as battered as they were, and going against an Islanders team that's off to a pretty good start.
Well, they're a lot more offensive. Like they're playing a similar style to Trotz still, but like Lane is definitely opened up the offense.
There's been a significant difference between them, and you can see it just in terms of the team defense. They're third last in the league in expected goals against. So they're really not helping Sorokin out, but Sorokin's bailing them out.
As Sorokin does.
Because he's unbelievable. And this, you know what?
It's like, still weird that he's the second best Russian goalie in New York with the initials IS.
Yeah. It's just so funny. Like, unbelievable. But
and you're gonna have to excuse me, I'm still getting over something. So
yeah. But it's not the most sustainable style, because, you know, relying so heavily on your goaltender is almost never sustainable long term. But I think it gives them more pop and a better chance to win against some of the higher end teams, because, you know, what we wanted to see from this coaching change for the Islanders was more production for Matt Barzal, more comfortability with Matt Barzal.
You know what's funny about that? Well. You know what's funny about that is Barzy hasn't scored a goal.
Well, he's third in the league in assists, isn't he?
Something like that. He's he's probably around an assist per game. He's got like 15 and 18 or something.
So real quick with Barzal, yeah. So he has 18 points on 18 assists in how many games did they play? So he's a point per game player, and he doesn't have a goal, which, you know, it's kind of funny, but I don't even think he cares, because
shades of Johnny last year,
right? Anders Lee's got 16 points. Brock Nelson has 18 points. And good God,
I love Brock. Like, from an opponent standpoint, I love Brock Nelson.
You would love him on your team.
Oh yeah,
that kind of player. He was phenomenal against the Blue Jackets. He had an unbelievable game against us, which pissed me off. But you know,
yeah,
kind of his job. So
kind of his job is to win for his team.
Yeah, believe it or not. So I wasn't too upset about the outcome. You know, you do get a power play goal, and B, a goal from Cole Sillinger. And we said we hope that this is going to, you know, help him. Maybe it's kind of like that Jack Roslovic breakout kind of moment where you finally get that first goal, and now they're starting to come to you.
Right.
And evidently that might have been the case. He scored tonight. Emil Bemstrom scored a beautiful goal on the rush. He had a breakaway, finished on the backhand. Just a gorgeous.
And you've said you've loved his shot with top line so far.
He looks outstanding on the top line. And then obviously Marcus Bjork scored his first NHL goal. They get the game to overtime
with his parents in attendance.
Yeah, pretty awesome stuff. And Korpisalo looked great. Not much of a chance in overtime. Off the rush, Laine gets hurt. He can't keep up with Zach Parise.
That was a weird one, because he got really just kind of tangled in the faceoff, didn't he?
Yes, and I was originally kind of upset about it, because when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my God, that's just come on, Laine! Like that's like I know you're not like a great defensive player, but that's just a dog shit effort." And then I found out that he got hurt, and I'm like, "That makes more sense that he was that far behind in overtime
to hobble like that." Yeah,
yeah. So, like, at least, you know, it wasn't an effort thing, but at the same time, he's out for a while. So it's like, oh, God.
And this is his second stint on the IR already.
And that's a little bit of a concern, you know, in the midst of a 4-year deal.
And we'll talk about that in, like, just the overall scope of things in a minute. But getting to the Flyers game.
Yes.
It was nice that they pulled the dub out of this one. Answer the call, baby.
Yeah, baby. What I liked about this one, I thought it was very similar to the Islanders game, except this time they just were able to finish in overtime. You know, they go up 1-0 against the Islanders. Islanders tie it. Then 2-1. Islanders tie it. Then 3-2. Islanders tie it. You get to overtime, but you lose. This one, you're up 2-0. They tie it. 4-2. They tie it. But then you win this one. So you're riding, 3 straight games with points. You're 2-0-1 in these last 3 games. We talk about how quickly a season can kind of get away from you. Which
kind of is we're almost there.
But it's like I said, it's crazy what momentum can do to you, because if you have no momentum at all and you're treading in the wrong direction, you can lose it like crazy. But if you start to get a little bit of momentum, you can kind of right the ship a little bit here.
String a couple wins together, and
we didn't have playoff expectations at the beginning of the year. We certainly don't have them now. We just want to see this team get back on track and just play some good hockey, and we want to see some development.
Yes.
And I've seen it in these last 3 games, and that's what I've really liked about it. Hopefully that continues tonight.
Did you see poor Torts? This poor dude.
Oh my God, the funniest interview of all time.
He's such a warrior, though, just like looking at his broken up schnoz.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, at first, everybody was asking about it. They were like, what happened to Torts' face? Apparently, he was like tending to his horses at home, and he took a hoof to the face.
Yeah, that's rough. And then, I made the joke that it was one of the funniest. It's probably not even like a top 15 funniest John Tortorella interview of all time, because he's just so damn funny. But him just first period, hey, like, what do you need to do? Like, what are you doing well? He's like, nothing. We suck. We're not forechecking. What do you need to do to get back on track? Forecheck.
It's just like,
like, oh my God, Torts.
I love how short and sweet he always is with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I still think one of my all-timers, though, especially when he was with us, was when he first got here. And we were playing the Penguins. He was like, we're not going to whine here.
Yeah, that's probably one of his most iconic ones since, obviously we don't like the Penguins, and that's the one that a lot of fans like to point to.
So the whistle blows. That's another one.
That was the one I was at. The league doesn't do their freaking job.
Almost spills his Tim Hortons.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was praying for that cup on the
and then his fine, and then the tentative fine after that. Like that's what makes it iconic for me, is all of the money attached to that. And it was just like, oh.
All right. Are you ready for the assists on the cylinder goal?
Who do we got?
Secondary assist, Jake Christensen.
Yay, good for Jake.
Primary assists,
Marcus Bjork.
Branson.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome for Goody, though. That's great.
And you wouldn't believe in Eric Branson. He said it at the top of the show. But no, I really like what I saw from these last 2 games. Hope this continues into this game.
Into tonight and into Saturday.
This game, Corpus-Stellar is 8 for 8, which is good. He's been playing well. We want to see.
Did you call him Corpus-Stellar?
No. That's
exactly what it sounded like.
Oh. I don't know. Maybe I just suck at talking.
Maybe you do. I don't know. So we got tonight. We got the game that we're watching, keeping track of right now. We got Detroit on Saturday when we're recording again. We'll be recording that in the morning.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's out before game time. And then Sunday, let me just announce this now. Your boy's going to be there.
Nice.
Yeah. So I will be in attendance against Florida.
All right. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. It's a 3rd jersey night, so they're going to look great.
You'll get to see Bob.
Get to see Bob. Oh, that's right. I get to see my boy.
Yeah.
And then I get to see Johnny do his thing in person. That's going to be crazy fun. And I mean, come say hi. You find me, come say hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, just wrapping it up. The Flyers game was needed, obviously.
Both of them were needed. Who knew all this team needed was the Philadelphia Flyers?
Detroit's a bit more of a test than Montreal.
Of course. Yeah. Montreal's been playing well. I mean, so far in the season, they're 8-7-1. They remind me a lot of last year's Sabres, where they're not necessarily a very talented team, but they're young. They've got a head coach that's just trying to develop the players, and if they get goaltending, they can do some damage, and that's kind of been the case so far for them. And
Right.
Hopefully, they don't get the goaltending tonight.
And potential Selke winner, Dylan Larkin. God, Dylan Larkin looks so.
I was talking about Montreal.
Oh, Montreal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like what I'm seeing from Detroit. Detroit's, I think, a team that is one step away from being a very legit team in the National Hockey League.
Yes.
I like Ville Husso as their goaltender of the present and the future. And even then they got,
they got Ned too, so that's like.
Yeah, Ned, I don't know. I don't think he's too long in Detroit. They got Sebastian Casa, who's going to come up soon. And
Casa looked good in the East so far.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. He's huge. He's gigantic.
Yeah, he's another one of these 6'6", 6'7" guys, right?
Yeah, just unbelievably gigantic.
What is it with so many mammoth goalies getting drafted over the last few years? Like the Senators have Mads Søgaard and Kevin Mandolese that are both like 6'6"
Yeah, they're
and 7.
both gigantic. Yeah, I think teams kind of looked at the career of Ben Bishop and they were like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? This can kind of work." I think we're looking at Jake Ottinger right now, who's gigantic as well.
6'5".
Yeah, and we're just saying, like, you know what?
Bassey's 6'5", 6'6", isn't he?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
Somewhere there.
Big goalies can work, man, especially if they can move. And I like Detroit's future. Their presence not like bleak or anything. I think they can still.
But they still got a bit of a way to go.
Yeah, a bit of a way to go with the defense and just player development, but a couple pieces away. I think they're gonna be really good. But yes, definitely a bigger test at this present moment in time than Montreal.
And then Florida.
And Florida is.
What do you say about Florida? It's just like
it's a concern with the potential because the Panthers are 9-6-1, and they are playing nowhere near as good as they could be.
Right.
Like 9-6-1 for this team almost feels like they're underachieving. That's how good they are.
Well, even because like Tkachuk's doing his thing, not as much as he would. Right.
I mean, it's hard to repeat what he did last year in Calgary, playing with Gaudreau and Lindholm.
Yeah. But still, like you have, Reinhart and Barkov. Well, you don't have Barkov tonight. He's sick.
Reinhart, Barkov, Sam Bennett,
Lundell,
Verhaeghe. That. Even guys like Colin White's been playing pretty well to start the season.
Yeah,
he's been big for them. A2 Laura Stroyanen has been really good for them. And Matt Tkachuk's actually his numbers are better than I thought they were.
Yeah,
He's got 20 points in 14 games.
There you go, bud.
So he's last year he had 4 goals. He's only got 5 goals to start the season, but he's been dishing the puck pretty well. So.
And I mean, we know Matt Tkachuk can do it all.
Yeah, like that's the whole reason that, like we've said many times, he's a unicorn, and that's the reason that the Panthers were so okay with getting rid of a really good defenseman in Mackenzie Weegar and a guy who was second in the league in scoring last year in Huberdeau,
tied with Johnny.
Yeah. So that's how good of a player Matthew Tkachuk is. That they're just like, we want him that bad.
Well, didn't all three? No. It was just Matt and Johnny, and then Lindholm had 80 points, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember.
I think he had like 82.
I thought he was
I thought all three of them had over 100 points.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But so that's the next few for our boys in Union Black and Blue.
Yeah, which will be the episode of this title because they have
Black and Union Blue.
Unbelievable amount of injuries.
Oh my god, dude! Half of our defense is monsters. Half of our defense is the Cleveland Monsters.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Bjork, Jake Christensen, Gavin Bayreuther is in there tonight. They were all playing in Cleveland just a few days ago.
Not only that, but half of our cap space is out.
I want to say it was around like $40 million.
Yes.
Out right now on this roster. Unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
Just
and
an
what's
unbelievable amount of money. That's
what was that tweet from Portsline that I came across the other day? It was something like it was something about 14 games worth of man games lost.
Oh my God.
Just up to that point of the tweet.
Let me see if I can find that tweet from Portsline, but
so it's brutal. Forget the actual like start that they've had because they've looked good in parts.
I just click on his profile. First two tweets I see: Jake Christensen with the first assist and second point of his NHL career, and then the most recent one from 3 seconds ago. Arbor Jack guy just deposited Liam Foudy onto the Montreal bench.
Oh boy.
As Arbor Jack guy will tend to do.
Yes. Jack Eye's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
And for those of you going, who? He's a brand new kid, but he's establishing himself right now.
His J Fresh card is one of the wildest
I know
I've ever seen in my entire life.
So it's crazy. It's all over the place.
It is. But it's like it's fun, you know.
But yeah, it's just there's such an injury bug so early on. 14-15 was the last time we had this go on with us, right? When it was just really early and injuries took out like everybody.
14-15, yeah, because that was the year after we made the playoffs and we had expectations of getting back, and too many injuries happened, and it was just brutal the entire year.
I mean,
the only difference is like we didn't really have playoff expectations this year, but still, just unbelievable how it's just happening every single game, and some of these guys are playing through injuries just to finish games, and then they're going straight to IR. Like we saw that with Blankenberg, and obviously now with Peak. You know, he's still in the lineup tonight, but obviously they're putting him in a little bit of a pitch count because he did struggle to finish out that game.
So let me see if I can pull this up from earlier.
Gus Nyquist 2-0.
There you go, Goose. Goose is loose.
Yeah, baby.
Love it. I gotta scroll all the way for this because I was thinking. So we're missing 3 NHL caliber defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like literally just bubble wrap everybody, please. I think I'm getting there to the point where
I don't know. Bubble wrap seems like a good idea to me.
Dropping like flies. Yes. So I'm just trying to read chats until. Okay, here we go. So and I got a lot of this from Cap Friendly.
Mm-hmm.
This is a message I had in a chat earlier.
Yeah.
Bean, Laine, Voracek, Danforth, all on regular injury reserve. Boqvist's on LTIR.
Mm-hmm.
Werenski's a part of just the regular IR right now, I think. And then basically Sean, Blanks, Goody, they've all at least had been questionable, if not put on IR.
Yeah.
And just yo-yoed. And then obviously to start the season, they had Luoto and Corpy.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't surprise me like we just heard announced today, Elvis is out 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, which doesn't actually not as bad as I thought it could be. So that's not the worst news for the Blue Jackets. But we did hear today that the Jake Bean news is not going to be very
indefinite,
good.
Right?
It's going to be long term.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again, we've talked about Jake Bean and how he's not exactly been the player that we were hoping he would be, but it felt like this was a really good opportunity for him to maybe get more minutes and maybe to develop his game a little bit and to find his spot. And I feel for him because getting that opportunity taken away from you because of injuries just
always. And I mean, like you've been critical of Jake Bean.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you never want to lose a guy like that has potential.
No, of course
not. To an injury like this.
I want to see him succeed.
Yes.
I'd love to see him continue to develop his offensive game. And, you like I said on the last podcast, even if he's just a Jake Gardner or something like that, like a lot of value in that. And that this was the perfect opportunity for him to maybe play on the second pair, get some more minutes. And it sucks. It really sucks for him that gets taken away from him.
This being Patrick Laine's second stint on the IR already this year, and another month stretch.
And it's just like,
or at least another month's timetable.
Yeah, and he came back like in 13 days. 4 to 6 weeks, which was just incredible. But was it the best thing for him?
At this point, I mean, because did he re-aggravate this?
No, it's a different.
It's a different injury. Okay,
it's a different injury, so it's not like these two things are connected. But like, I don't know.
Oh no, wait, yeah, because it was an elbow and now it's an ankle, right?
Yeah. So I think my concern about that though is like if you have a player who's getting the same injury over and over again, like that's a concern because re-aggravation is always tough to deal with. And you always worry about that one specific thing kind of going out on you.
EK65 in his foot.
Yeah. But when it's multiple injuries.
Austin Matthews having 2 wrist surgeries. Just thinking of re-aggravated injuries like that.
Of course. But like, if it...
Oh, no, wait. Okay. Assists on the Gus goal. Bayreuther, Chinny.
Oh, okay. Love it.
Good for Gavin.
Is
okay, yeah, go.
Are we getting Ryan Murray'd here?
God, I hope
one
not.
Week it's an elbow. The next it's his ankle. And the next week it's his wrist. Now he's got a like are we experiencing this, or is it just 2 injuries within a very short amount of time against each other? It's just unfortunate. Hope that's the case, but you do get some concern there that this player you're investing a lot of money in has already gotten hurt twice this season.
Right.
And it's a pivotal season for him.
In very short order.
It's a season where he has to develop chemistry with your franchise player.
With your now franchise player, yes.
Yes. So that sucks,
And I mean, they've looked good together when he's been healthy.
Yeah.
In the very small sample that it is. Because I go back to a few games ago with the Boone goal that they both helped to set up.
Yeah.
Right? The tic-tac-toe play was just gorgeous.
There's so much potential there. Because he's got such a great shot, and Johnny's such a good passer.
And Laine's a good passer.
It doesn't always work out that way. It just doesn't. Like some guys just don't work well together. Like prime example, since you really love the Leafs, they put them together all the time because they don't really have much choice. But William Nylander and John Tavares don't have an absurd amount of chemistry. They put them together because they're both incredibly talented, and they're just like, you'll figure it out. But we can't break up this top line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Those are the ones who have the chemistry. They
work, but at the same time, when push comes to shove and you need to give Marner time with JT or like whatever, it's like chemistry is a weird thing like that, right?
It is. You say it works. It does work. It works because John Tavares and William Nylander are just so damn good. But it doesn't work because they have, an unbelievable amount of chemistry, like
like Austin and Mitch do,
Matthews,
or yeah,
Mitch Marner have, and that's okay. You got to find a match though, and that would be my concern. Now, granted, it hasn't been a lot of time together. Hopefully, they'll get that chance in the future, and hopefully, they prove me wrong. But that is a concern.
I feel like since we're on the Tavares and Nylander thing, the concern that they always have, especially like the fans and Keefe, is always finding the right left wing for those two. Right?
It's a big one too. Yeah.
And they've tried Kerfoot, they've tried Robbie, they've tried Bunce, they've tried Pierre Engvall at times.
They just don't have a good solution there.
And they don't.
Their problem with Kerfoot is they don't know where the fuck to put him.
No, he's such a utility player that it's just like, where do you go?
Yeah.
But the thing that I can compare this with Columbus is something that we talk about all the time, is finding that right center for 13 and 29.
And the funny thing is, I don't know if this is just because they've gotten more time to play together, or if it was just immediate, but Johnny's got great chemistry with Boone.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny and Boone's not an issue. We've always talked about how, like, we want to see Line and Gaudreau work together, and they need the perfect center. Well, so far, it's not like Boone's been bad.
So far, Boone Jenner's the guy.
Boone's actually working really well with Johnny. I hate to say it, but the issue so far has been Patrick. Because Patrick hasn't played much because he's been hurt. And as a result,
you could chalk that up to the injury, yeah.
I'm hoping that it's just a result of the injury. But right now, the one guy who is holding that back is Patrick Laine. And I'm hoping that he can get back from injury and fix that. But until then, other guys are going to have an opportunity to audition themselves.
So far, Bemmer's looked the best.
Bemmer's looking great. Actually, I saw this the other day. Like, in terms, so expected goals for, like, who's creating the most chances and has the highest expected goals for in terms of lines. They were, I think, 15th.
That's not bad considering where we're at.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it was not with Bemstrom, but it was Gaudreau, Jenner, and Nyquist.
Oh, that's right. Gus does work very well with those
two.
So
Gus actually worked really, really well on that first line, and I know that they want to kind of move him kind of all around the lineup. They'll use him in a bunch of different roles, but if we're looking for the best fit outside of maybe a long-term solution past this season, if you're just looking in the short term, the best person who works with them right now is
Gus Nyquist. Yeah. I just hope that, I don't know. I want Patty back as soon as possible, but like, take your time with this one.
Yes. I feel the same way. You're not competing for a playoff spot. You really shouldn't be in a rush, because I don't want to say that this season's a total waste, but the next
it's not a wash just yet.
These seasons are more important than this one. So make a long-term investment. And keep out an extra week if you feel that is necessary.
The long-term investment with this season in particular is such a good point too, because Johnny's statement is another point to that.
Yeah.
Because he came out and you shared the Emily Kaplan interview,
which was awesome. I mean, he's the man. I thought it was funny what he said about getting booed.
Oh yeah. Why are they booing me?
It's just so par for the course for Islanders fans.
But yeah, the fact that we know that he's so committed to this.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, and I really don't want to go on like a tangent here, but
put a bow on it. Yeah.
The thing that I think sometimes forget about with athletes, is
that they're people.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Because every time, like people are still talking about this decision, and people are criticizing his decision. And let me criticize this on two levels, okay?
Yes.
This is just something I feel very strongly about.
Oh, yeah, and I do too.
Sports, And not just hockey, not just hockey. We see this in basketball. We see this in football. We see this in baseball, but especially in baseball. We get sick and tired as fans of every big player just going to the big market team. We get sick and tired of every time a free agent comes out, people are like, oh, he's going to go to the Yankees. He's going to go to the Dodgers. And it's like, can we get a little bit of a shakeup here? Can someone go to another cool place that's not the Yankees or the Dodgers? We're getting sick and tired of every free agent or trade candidate being linked to the Maple Leafs or the Rangers or teams like that. We get sick and tired of any good basketball. Oh, there's certainly going to be a Laker to play with LeBron James.
They're always going to be a Laker, right?
Oh my God, always going to be a freaking Laker, and we get
a Laker or a Warrior
or a Nick,
or a Nick,
which is the funniest thing. But like we get so sick and tired of it, and then you get a free agent who, in the prime of his career, coming off of being tied for second in the league in scoring, chooses Columbus of all teams. Yes. First time any gigantic free agent has chosen Columbus.
Yes.
Really, really cool moment, and everyone kills him. What the fuck do you want? Are we just signing nowhere? Does every athlete just have to stay with their current team? Like what do you want here? It aggravates the shit out of me that we do this with everybody, because we love, and I know I'm going to the NBA here, but we love Giannis for staying and winning a title with Milwaukee.
Yes.
We love Dirk Nowitzki and him staying with Dallas and winning a title in 2011. And we kill Damian Lillard for staying with the Portland Trailblazers because he hasn't won a damn thing yet. What is it? Do we hate LeBron for going to Miami? Do we love him for it? Do we love him for going back to Cleveland or going to LA? Do we like players? Like what do you want here?
My answer to that is just, and this is just because of the teams that we cheer for the most part. Even if you're a big city, if you're a big populous city, but you run like a small market team, small markets deserve just as much love.
Yes.
Because it grows your product.
It does. It absolutely does.
Columbus grows the product. The Reds eventually will grow the product. And I mean, they were the first professional baseball team ever.
Yeah.
There's such history in the Cincinnati Reds.
There's a reason that they play every single first series at home.
Yes.
It's a tradition. They're the only team that does that.
Yes. 2015's All-Star game was gigantic.
Yes, absolutely. You talk about growing the game for any sport. It doesn't just happen overseas. It happens here. You got to grow it here too, because this is where the game is.
Yeah.
You got to do it in both places.
And I mean, that can tie into Arizona. That could tie into Ottawa getting its new digs.
You know what?
At least coming back to hockey, right? Like it.
Yeah, but a city that's not a very big city, but NHL goes to and is wildly successful
all the time.
Winnipeg.
Yeah,
they went back to Winnipeg, and it's been slam dunk success. That's not a big city. They don't operate like a big market.
No, and they're second in the Central. They're doing great.
It's as passionate of a fan base as you'll ever find.
Yes.
So you get a free agent, signs with completely out of nowhere. Nobody expected this.
We never did.
The majority of the people in the NHL fan base, like for other teams, are just killing him over this decision. Well, first of all, what the hell do you want? Second of all,
it's not your decision.
Second of all, there's a life decision here too.
Yes.
And that's what drives me nuts about this, is because, like, sure, there are athletes who want to win, but it's not a 1-year deal.
It's a 7-year contract
deal to win with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He signed a 7-year deal. He's not just here for this year. He's here for 7 years. I'd have to imagine they're going to be in the playoffs at least once in the next 7 years.
He chose this place as a place to live.
Probably for the rest of his life.
And we've seen that with plenty of our other alumni that are still playing. Cam's got his house here.
Yes.
Nick still has his house here.
Rick Nash was traded in the prime of his career to New York City.
Yeah.
Where does he live?
Columbus, Ohio.
He lives in Columbus.
Nathan Horton has a house here still, right?
Yes. He wasn't a big superstar like Johnny Gaudreau, but he was one of the top free agents in 2013. Where did he sign? Columbus. Why? Because it's a great place to raise a Hear me, Shock.
Before Ollie got traded.
Before
Ollie got traded, he bought a house in Cleveland.
Yeah. But tell me if you've heard this. 29-year-old forward who is a free agent coming off of a great season, wants to start a family, comes to Columbus on a 7-year deal. Now, granted, Nathan Horton wasn't a superstar, but same freaking situation, wasn't it?
Pretty much age-wise.
Age-wise, wanted to start a family, wanting to. I remember his interview just being like, yeah, I remember just like visiting the city, going to the zoo and all these other different places and being like, this is a great place for family. This is where I want to raise my kids.
Johnny was almost exactly the same thing, except you got to replace the zoo with the hospital.
Right. And it's yeah, I can't believe the amount of people who are almost making fun of him for like, oh man, your wife made this decision. It's like, yeah, you mean the person that he's married to and is going to raise a fucking child with? I would hope she would have an opinion in this decision. I
would hope that they made that decision together.
Yeah.
I
would hope to God that he would have consulted her in his decision.
Yeah.
Be a pretty selfish fuck if he didn't.
And like we said this when he first signed, having Meredith there during his presser stuff, getting to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Was perfect.
It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that people are still up in arms about this. And it drives me nuts that that there's almost a hatred towards Columbus now just because we got this guy.
Just because, yeah. I mean,
it's.
Don't get me wrong.
He was a very nice and rootable player.
It's weird. I mean, I don't want to become a joker about this. But if we kind of have to embrace that mentality for at least a season, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And then we prove them wrong. Yeah. And then people will settle into it and be like, you know what?
Well, I'll tell you what, if we get Connor Bedard, people won't be laughing.
If we get Adam Fantilli, people won't be laughing either.
Yeah.
I'm on the Fantilli trade just because it's just like, I don't know.
It's realism. I know you're more realistic than I am, but
and which is funny because you're more the realistic one.
You gotta keep optimism somewhere.
So this is funny because this just happened over the last few days. Excuse me. The weirdest crossover I think I've ever seen.
Is this the Hank Green one?
Hank Green of the Vlog Brothers.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie.
Stumbling into hockey Twitter.
I've had people send me this stuff.
And having just a blast.
I don't know who Hank Green is.
So, do you remember? So you know who John Green is?
No.
He's an author. He wrote like a lot of young adult novels. Like he wrote The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And a few books like that.
Yeah.
Hank's brother.
Okay.
They run that, and I mean, Hank's an author. Hank does all sorts of the similar stuff that John does. And he gives like TED Talks. He's a very scientific minded guy, like not the guy that you would expect to be a hockey fan, but then again, hockey fans are everywhere.
So you're telling me this guy's probably in analytics?
He could be your kind of guy.
Yeah.
But so like, here's what you'll know him from. Do you remember our Chip Buddy discussion?
Yes, I do.
That was them.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Should have led with that.
I could have just led with that. So yeah.
Fucking weird.
I still have to try one. Still have to make one.
You go right ahead. Tell me how it is.
So he was just, this is great. A couple of tweets. Why? Okay. Tweet from Hank. I hate it when people who hate me are assholes in my mentions, but I hate it even more when people who like me are assholes in my mentions. Who are you trying to impress? Me? My whole brand is trying to not be an asshole. And then this guy Ryan says, "Why'd you delete the best part of this thread?" And the tweet that he deleted says, "Except when it comes to Mac Kachuk. Fuck Mac Kachuk."
Yeah.
And then he responds to this, and Hank goes, "I'd like to apologize to Matthew Kachuk for my harsh words, but unfortunately, I can't. Should have been a 10-game suspension." And I'm assuming they're talking about the high stick against Quick.
Yeah.
Right?
So. Yeah. And that would make sense because where's he based? Is he out in California?
He is based MT.
Huh.
I don't know what abbreviation that is.
Is that Montana?
Could be. I'm not entirely sure. I just thought this was funny because it's like two worlds.
Yeah. Montana. Wow. Someone from Montana look really into hockey.
I mean, I get so apparently he's explained his fandom, like he grew up in New York and knew about King's stuff too, and
interesting.
So like he's explained his fandom before. I just don't have the tweets bookmarked for that because the whole thing is the fuck back Kachuk thing that I got, like the original reason why he got into this beef with hockey Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And just started interacting for a few hours.
Right.
So he has this, and then this person, Ash, says, "Can't wait for the crash course on what goalie interference is." And then Hank replies and says, "It's very simple. Goalie interference is when the refs decide it's goalie interference." So he's like, he's already one of us, right?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, and this is the best part of this. Our buddy Steve replies to this. So he's a nerd fighter too.
Yeah.
Like Nerd Fighters is the Vlogbrothers big thing, right?
Okay.
And like Pizza Miss and all of this. They do a lot of fun like charity stuff. Steve's tweet says, "Doesn't it stink being the guy everyone turns to for answers to things while also being a fan of hockey, the least explainable silly goose sport on earth?"
He really is one of us.
God, he is. I just thought that interaction was so good.
Yeah.
Just him hanging out with everybody on hockey Twitter.
Yeah. I love that.
It's just like, I don't know. I want to see
when you get celebrities kind of into the game who you might not expect.
Ryan Reynolds wanting to own the Sens, for instance.
Yeah, still make it happen,
please. But
he
like,
needs a sugar mommy or sugar daddy.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, like the Green Brothers doing this is like, it's so good. It's so awesome because it's just like you never expect anything like this.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, we're gonna see. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. We're gonna see like Steven Spielberg.
Hell yeah.
Come out rooting for somebody, right?
Yeah, not even just that. Like, just I like it even more because he just was rooting against someone.
I mean, he's rooting against a guy that like is easy to root against and for.
Yeah, like unbelievable player, but very easy to root against. Like, just it would be so funny. Like, just tomorrow you just see like Olivia Munn just tweet, "Man, fuck Scott Mayfield." Like could you just imagine what? Like,
there's a tweet from like Charlie XCX going,
"Oh my god!" People be like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Brendan Lemieux deserved 10 for biting.
Oh god.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, eating.
Yes. One munch is biting, two is eating.
Still an all-timer.
Yeah.
Friggin' wow. The this is biting and high sticking history.
I couldn't stop laughing at high sticking history.
Yeah. Props to Hank for hanging out with us for a while, right?
Yeah. Just chilling around.
Just so good. The Hockey Hall of Fame stuff happened this weekend and over the last few days.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I heard during the alumni game where they bring all the inductees into play and all of that Roberto Luongo was playing some forward and scored a goal.
On who?
I can't remember. But it's wow, good for Bobby Lou.
Yeah.
And this whole class is awesome.
Yeah, it's a good class.
The Sedin brothers, Bobby Lou, Salinan, Alfie.
Yeah.
It's such a good class.
It's a really good class.
And
I think it does bring up some interesting questions about who else could be Hall of Famers too. So the
big question, right, is this is the first class that we've had that doesn't have a single Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that. Wow.
Alfie they all got close. Everyone in the NHL in this class got
to
close.
The Cup final in 07. Sedin's in 11.
Sedin's and Luongo in 11.
Yeah. Did Salinan? Well, wait. Salinan was.
Salinan's the women's player.
Yes, who was outstanding, overseas, absurd. I think we talked about her.
We did.
Some for stats that are just ridiculous.
So crazy, untouchable. But yeah, that begs the big question of who else can we see that never won a cup, right?
Right.
And who's next? Because the big headliner that everybody's talking about for next year's class that could get in is Henrik Lundqvist. And he has to.
I mean, what did he do?
Kind of a middling career.
No cups, man. No cups. As we just talked about Roberto Luongo.
kind of a middling career, if you ask me. No, Lundqvist is a slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, if looks could kill.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe that's why he was such a good goalie.
Just because he looked good doing it.
Yeah, you'd wind in for a shot, and you'd be like, "Oh my god!"
I'm staring into his eyes, man.
And then your shot's not as hard as it should be.
The man behind the mask.
Yeah.
Patrick Elias, please, as one that because we've talked about Elias before.
Oh my god, it's getting ridiculous.
Elias and dude, how many times have we brought up McGillney in this conversation?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
He should have gotten inducted 10 years ago.
Yeah, they hate Devils.
McGillney should have gotten in 10 years ago. Seriously.
It's beyond ridiculous.
It's crazy ridiculous. Who else do you think could get in, though?
And that's the whole point of the conversation, though. When we talk about Alfredsson. Alfredsson had a great career, and I'm not against him.
Yeah.
It's just, if Alfredsson's going to be in the Hall, then, then both Elias and McGillney should also be in.
Yes. Well, because they also have the hardware.
Yeah.
Guys that have the hardware.
So, what the fuck are we doing here?
So what's going on?
Can we just, do the right thing here?
Please?
That would be great.
My whole argument with McGillney is just because he was the first Russian to come over alone, and let alone the career he had.
Yeah,
the way he got here, his story alone on how he got here should get him into the Hall of Fame. Honestly.
100%. Not to mention, he was a point per game player. He had 1,032 points in 990 games. He had 473 goals. He had a 76 goal season in 77 games in 1992-93 with the Buffalo Sabres.
Iggy's already in there, isn't he?
I want to say he is.
I would think he is. Because if he's not, it's a fucking crime.
He's got to be Hall of Fame, right?
He's got to be in there.
Yeah, he's in. He's in.
He's good. But yeah, the whole thing with next year's class, I'm not. Hank's the only one off the top of my head that I can think of that's at least eligible.
Yeah, let me look. 2023.
And while you're talking about that, let me just acknowledge the other thing that happened in Toronto during those last couple of games was the psalming ceremony.
Yeah, it was. Did you watch like the actual like footage of it?
I saw it on Hat Picks, believe it or not.
Oh, I watched like the whole thing. Like it was, I shed a few tears. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just,
dude. I wanted to just watching it. Seeing
it, but then when you see him like kind of break down.
So let's break this down. So Borje Salming, legendary Leaf, played in the 70s and 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah.
Played for an extremely long time with this team.
He started in 73 and played up until 89-90. And
89-90
season was the only year that he wasn't a Maple Leaf. It was his 1 year with the Red Wings.
Wow.
He played 16 years in Toronto, played in 1,099 games with the Maple Leafs, 148 goals from the back end, 620 assists for 768 points. And I know plus minus isn't the best stat, but he was a plus 150 in those 16 seasons. Also important, 1,292 penalty minutes.
Dude could dish it out.
6-time All-Star, Hockey Hall of Famer, inducted as a player in 1996 from Sweden. He was instrumental in changing the way that European stars were viewed, because at the time, like, a lot of the European guys from Sweden, Finland were viewed as very soft, and he was very not.
He was probably the most rugged guy out there.
He very much debunked that whole argument, and he was just an outstanding player.
My favorite thing about Salming now is, do you remember the Alumni Classic during the Centennial?
I don't know.
He was the oldest guy there.
Yeah.
And the most jacked and in shape.
Yeah, because didn't he have like some like European like underwear line?
He still does that now. I'm pretty sure he still does that now.
That's amazing.
Where he's an underwear model in Sweden.
Yeah.
So, but the tragic part is he recently got diagnosed with ALS and he can no longer speak. And ALS is one of those diseases that obviously, I don't think it gets a lot of credit for how debilitating it is and how seriously we should take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is just because, like, it's not so common. You know, it's not as common as like, you know, cancer or like the big ones, but it is just devastating on so many levels, and there's no cure for it, and it's just, I remember one of my favorite Survivor players, Jonathan Penner, his wife went through it, and she passed away in early 2020, and I just remember like his whole, like, he was very public about like, you know, the things that she was going through and the whole process and exactly everything that was doing to her, and just being totally devastated about it.
Yes.
It's just, it's so brutal on so many levels.
So the Leafs, decided we're going to honor Borja this year and have a ceremony during Hockey Hall of Fame weekend the very next day after we do Hall of Fame stuff. And he got to drop the ceremonial puck. The best thing about that, they didn't have either captain in the team.
Nope, they had the Swedes.
They had 2 Swedes. They had Oliver Ekman-Larsson for the Canucks, and they had William Nylander take it for the Leafs. And then Sheldon Keefe.
Yes.
Oh my God, the brilliance of Sheldon Keefe with this.
Yes, I love this from Sheldon Keefe.
An all Swedish starting lineup, including Erik Källgren in net.
Yeah. So you had Erik Källgren in net. You had it was Pierre Engvall with William Nylander and
Calle Järnkrok.
Calle Järnkrok, yes.
Yes.
On D,
it was Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren.
Yeah. So really cool stuff, man.
Brilliance.
Love that from Sheldon. And not only like that, like, they get through the first shift, nothing happens. And they ended up winning that game, right?
Yes, they won that for Borja.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And Austin, during the ceremony, tearing up on the bench. Oh my God.
Well, there's the shot of Kyle Dubas crying.
Shot of Kyle crying too. I was just like, that made me want to cry.
It tells you everything you need to know about the person and what he meant to the Maple Leafs organization. And think about it, this is an organization that's been around for 100 years.
Yes.
Over 100 years.
Yes.
Been around forever. That's how much he means to them.
Yes. And I mean, when did he have his number retired by Toronto? Like, I would say in the 90s, right?
I think it was more recent than that because they had a severed relationship for a little bit.
Huh.
Because of old Leaf ownership, they had a little bit of a severed relationship. And I want to say it was actually more recent than it should have been.
But it is retired, right? I would hope by now.
I believe it is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see.
Are you pulling this up?
Yes.
Yeah, just because I want to wrap it up with the 2023 guys.
Dave Keon and Borja Solomon both got their numbers retired in October of 2016 because both of them had a severed relationship with the Maple Leafs due to the old ownership. And
I remember Keon and Ballard not getting along at all.
Yeah, it very, very
like I at least remember the stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So when new ownership came in and the new management group, a lot of credit to them, rebuilt those relationships, and they did that then. So
good.
So they are retired, but 2016, it took them forever to fucking do it.
Wow. And I mean, like, just to finish this point, all the best to Borja and whatever he does next, like just trying to live his life anymore.
Yeah, and the family as well, and helping him through that process, and it's tough on them. It's really tough on them, and I'm thinking about them too.
Yeah. 2023 guys, real quick. 2023 eligible.
So I remember this is interesting. So you brought up Lundqvist, another guy that's very interesting, Corey Crawford.
Oh yes.
Who I don't think we'll get in yet. He might be able to get in down the line, but
not right away.
What's holding him back is the sample size because he didn't play in 500 games, played in less. So
and it's 500 for a goalie, right? And 600 plus for a skater, something like that.
Typically, like what you see is usually you'll see like 1,000 plus for a skater, and you want to see maybe like 600 plus for a goaltender. I know Spezza's like this shy of 1,000 after he retired, but like, please. Yeah.
Please give us Spezza in the Hall of Fame eventually.
Another one is Justin Williams because
oh, that's right. Yes.
Postseason king. Elias, Sergei Gonchar.
Gonchar's a good one.
An interesting one, yeah. I have to look more into Sergei Gonchar's career to determine if I think he's a Hall of Famer because I can't really make that off the tip of my tongue.
Just numbers wise?
Yeah.
Okay. Elias should, like we've belabored that point plenty.
Absolutely. I think that will be the year that he does it. I think they will get it right next year.
Please. And then, oh my God, just throw McGillney in as a builder, if anything. If you're not going to put him in as a player, put him in as a builder. God.
Yeah, absolutely. In total agreement on that one.
And then for the women's side of things, they haven't done 2 yet, and we know they should do at least 2. Just to support the women's side of the sport more. But I don't know who you could put in this next year off the top of my head.
So let me go back real quick and find who else is eligible. There's a couple. Jennifer Botterill.
Okay, that's a good choice.
So here's another one for the men real quick that I forgot to mention.
Brindy, yes. Yeah. How the hell is Brindy not there yet?
Kind of wild.
I can totally see him going up to Hall of Fame execs and just rolling up his sleeve.
Yeah.
And just being like, guys, you don't want this. Get me in here.
Caroline Willett is another option. She's been eligible at the start of this year. She's one of 3 women who have won 4 Olympic gold medals, joining Haley Wickenheiser and Jana Hefford, who are both in the Hockey Hall of Fame. She also won the Clarkson Cup with Montreal, the Canadian Women's Hockey League 4 times, and an NCAA Division I title at the University of Minnesota.
There you go.
So just success on all levels.
There you go. It's good that Wick's in there. It's good that Dr. Wickenheiser's in there. God.
Yeah. David Poyle.
Oh yes, and he should.
Yeah, absolutely should. Keith Tkachuk. This is a Tkachuk episode, isn't it?
It's funny because like we've talked about like the titles about the injuries, but yes, we're very Tkachuk centric somehow in this episode.
And eligible as of this year, who did not get in, but I think will eventually get in, Henrik Zetterberg.
Zetterberg should, and then Datsuk should too if he's not already.
I don't think he's eligible.
Is he not eligible just yet? Okay.
Yeah, he will certainly get in.
He should his first chance, right?
I believe so.
And we know that, I mean, in terms of just because Pavel just stopped.
Yeah.
Right? Pavel just officially retired.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Yager's that guy. I feel like Yager is that guy. Sorry.
No, Yager too.
Yager's that guy that literally, like, once he officially announces it, just put him in. Don't wait.
Totally agree with that. Same with Ovi whenever that day comes. But yeah, Datsuk, 2-time Cup winner, 4-time Lady Byng, 3-time Selke.
Easy.
You know, yeah, and just an unbelievable career.
Easy. But yeah, there's a lot of eligible pieces that like we grew up with coming in starting next season.
Yeah.
For the next class, which is actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, we get into this very strange territory now as we get older, where it's like we're seeing players get in that like we grew up on. Like Henrik Lundqvist is going to get inducted next year. I grew up on Henrik Lundqvist.
Yes.
Like when
we grew up on the Sedins, like
we grew up on the Sedins. Like they were like first like 2 years I was into hockey, I saw the Sedins in the Stanley Cup final against the Boston Bruins
and win back-to-back President's trophies.
Yeah, and eventually, whenever he retires a few years down the line, we're going to see Bergeron get in.
Gonna see Flower get in.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're going to see Crosby and Malkin get in one day, and God, like it's crazy to think about. It really is.
Yeah, it's so wild that we're into the era of like these are our guys that are getting into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it blows my mind to think about like, wow, I watched this guy for 10, 11 years and now I'm watching them get inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you don't realize how blessed you are to see some of these players, especially if you get the chance to see them live.
Well, it's the talent of these players, right? Like 2022-23 is the most talented pool of hockey player, young or old, that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But the sport just keeps getting better.
Because even guys that are near the tail ends of their careers are still super freaking talented players.
Patrice Bergeron might be playing the best hockey of his career.
Ageless wonder Patrice Bergeron.
It's honestly ridiculous sometimes.
Alex Ovechkin's gonna break Wayne Gretzky's goal record.
Yep.
Sidney Crosby is like
the same player he's been the last 5 years. It's
Henrik Lundqvist was always a brick wall.
Yes, even to the end, he was still incredible for the Rangers.
And the whole discussion of the no cups thing too is like
capital Henrik Lundqvist.
And the whole discussion of the no cups thing too.
Yeah.
Right? This new class is going to pave the way for people that don't have Stanley Cups, but it also had phenomenal careers.
Phenomenal careers, and just the impact that they had on the game. It's big, like championships aren't everything.
No.
He can still have an incredible career without winning.
Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah, I understand it for evaluating football.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a quarterback, how many Super Bowls did you win?
Right.
Or if you're a star basketball player, how many NBA titles did you win?
Mm-hmm.
But
how many pieces of metal did you win in the MLB?
Yeah.
As Rob Manfred would put it.
Yeah. In baseball, I don't criticize anybody for if you have a long career and you don't win a title, it's not really your fault.
Dude, Griffey.
Yeah, Griffey.
Junior's the principal player for that.
He is. Yeah.
It's like him and Ichiro, right?
Yeah, both of them for sure.
So we've spent so much time on this. We gotta
yeah.
We gotta roll with this. So taking a bit of a turn, we've talked about treatment. Earlier we mentioned Hap scored. We mentioned
You're right. This did take a turn.
Jordan Harris. So we mentioned earlier in the show treating players like people.
Yes.
Because they're people.
Yes.
And that goes for the superstars.
Yeah.
However robotic they may be.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just treat them especially hockey players, because they're so humble.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to treat them like you're meeting meeting a Spielberg or meeting some kind of celebrity on that level, right?
Right.
But it goes for the mid-level and low-level talent guys too.
Yeah.
Because, and my point here is, the main topic of this is the harassment against Nikita Zaitsev.
So, interesting. What is your kind of take on it?
My take on it is it shouldn't happen.
So what exactly has happened so far?
So what happened, and this is just going to tell really the majority of the story. Zaitsev is how do I put this kindly, replacement level player? If that.
Yes.
That
makes way too much money.
Makes too much money for the level of player he is.
Yes. So
he's an overplayed and overpaid defenseman.
Yes.
But at the same time, again, he's human.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There were a couple of guys, this family of people or something, friends, something, going into his Instagram messages.
Yeah.
and just harassing the hell out of him. Like just pure general harassment. And I don't think it involved like death threats or anything. I would hope not. Like what happened with Elvis and his family. Goddamn.
So interesting. I've kind of heard the opposite on this side.
Oh, that he was harassing them?
Yeah.
But that's what I was getting to.
Yeah. Okay.
He was getting messages. And typically, if you're a professional athlete, you just kind of brush it off.
Right.
Right. And let like your family handle the backlash, or let somebody else like that handle the backlash. Right.
Right.
What Zaitsev did was he directly replied to these people. Directly replied to this one guy saying, "Come and meet me face to face and I'll fight you."
Yeah.
Essentially.
They said, "Come on, text me back. Want to see you face to face immediately."
Yeah.
So I haven't seen anything about them just like messaging Zaitsev. What I've seen them is they post memes about him.
Yes, they posted memes and then Zaitsev jumped on it, I guess.
And then apparently Zaitsev's dad also contacted them as well.
Yeah, that's weird. It's really so like I don't know where to stand with it other than just my general stance of like, yes, they're professional athletes, but treat them like people. Right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's just a really, really strange situation.
And I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
To the story at this point. Like I don't know if there was like a grievance anywhere recently or anything. It just kind of blew over.
Yeah, it's gonna blow over. I don't expect anything else to come of it, but
unless Zaitsev just keeps going after these people, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, Zaitsev, like, he cleared waivers and
probably gonna be back in Russia pretty soon, but
I don't know what to make of that one other than just like, please.
Yeah, like, look, I agree. Like,
it's another situation of fans be better.
Yeah, fans be better in terms of like, don't harass people, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything to make me feel like they're really harassing him.
No, because I thought the meme was kind of funny.
I thought the meme was hilarious. That was a really funny meme. So I don't know. It's tough. I get it. Like, you're an NHL player making a lot of money, and people criticize you because you're struggling. You're probably not worth that money.
Yeah,
that's not an easy situation. People, for some reason, all the time say like, "Oh, you're making all that money. Why are you so miserable? You're making so much money." Well, money's not everything.
No, exactly.
Sometimes you want to play hockey and be good at it. It's not easy when you're struggling. So,
especially in markets like those Canadian markets,
where it's even harder.
Where it's harder because the fans are analyzing every single thing you do, whether you're at the rink or not.
So, from that perspective, I can understand like the frustration from Nikita Zaitsev. I would just say for him, like you gotta be a professional there and just not reach out to the fans.
You just gotta tune it out.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even think the fans were being particularly shitty in that situation, unless there's something that we're not seeing.
Right, because the only kind of context we have is the meme and the DMs from Zaitsev.
Yeah, like if they had reached out to him beforehand and then just deleted the messages and just framed him this way, that's one thing. But
yeah,
so far I haven't seen anything to think that. Really, really weird situation. That's all. I think that's what I'm taking out of it. It's really weird.
It's very strange, isn't it? And I mean, like the Senators, the only thing that's going right for them right now is the whole buzz about Ryan Reynolds wanting to get the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like Shabbat's out long term, which is really tough, and they're on their own downward spiral, and when they have expectations and all of this. So that just adds another layer to the onion. But going back up, we're going to end the show talking about our other favorite Metro team. because these devs, shout out to Neil, shout out to Alex, they're on a fucking tear.
In Jack Hughes's words, they're actually on a heater.
They are on a heater. It was a 9-game heater at the time.
Yeah, what can you be doing better in the midst of these night? Actually, we're on a 9-game heater right now, so
and I think we're fine.
They're up 2-1
on the Leafs right now.
On the Leafs right now. Nico's got another goal. He's been so good.
Well, Nico's been great. Miles Wood has been good over the last half of that.
Yeah. Vitek Vanacek's giving them good goaltending. He's stopped 14 of 15 so far. God, like they're
such a wagon right now, aren't they?
Remember, like, the first episode into the season when they were 0-2, and we were like, surely Lindy Ruff is going to get fired soon.
And how much praise did we give Andrew Burnett? Like,
oh my God, this is
like over Lindy.
Dude, I am just like, this season's been the season of hell for predictions for me. I predicted the Bruins to miss the playoffs. I predicted the Canucks to be good. I said, surely Lindy Ruff is going to get fired soon, and they've lost 1 game since.
You didn't think the Flyers were going to be this good, even though they're starting to slump.
It was like, well, I had them ahead of us. I had them
right, but still,
like, I mean, good God, like
we didn't expect the Penguins to start like this.
Well, if we're talking about the one that's really bad in this division, how about me picking the Islanders last?
Oh yeah,
it's just been the season of hell for these fucking predictions, man. I put so much time and effort and logic and reason into.
They're at the top of the league.
Hockey happens.
Yeah, hockey does happen.
Throw all the logic out the window. It's just, God damn, man.
Jack Hughes is a superstar,
franchise level talent.
They've done this without Andre Palat for a good chunk of it, which is wild.
Yeah.
John Marino being the engine that he is.
Yeah, he's just.
Who knew John Marino was their missing piece?
I saw this from Jay Fresh that made me laugh. He was like, huh, who could have seen John Marino, Jonas Siegenthaler, and I think he put like he put like some other defenseman in there. Who could have seen?
I think it was Dougie.
Like, really good defenseman for the Devils. And I just laughed my ass off at it because we've been.
I think it was Dougie.
Well, everybody knew Dougie would be good. There's someone else. I'm forgetting someone. Let me look for it real quick.
Siegenthaler, Graves?
Might be Graves, but oh wait, let's see. Oh no, you were right. So he said a 10-game winning streak for a team whose top 3 defensemen by time on ice are John Marino, Dougie Hamilton, and Jonas Siegenthaler. Eh? Anyone who's been pumping their tires for years must be real smart.
I mean, literally everybody's pulling their weight. Like Mercer. I mean, I know Hall has been very snake bit. He's probably the only one that's not really contributing as much as he could.
Yeah.
Right? Jesper Bratt's doing.
Their 4th line center is not producing. You know what I mean? Like, that's how good they are.
Jesper Bratt's doing his Jesper Bratt thing.
Yeah.
Yegor Sharangovich is turning it up. Right?
Yeah, let's just go up and down the lineup here. Fabian Zetterlund looks.
Fabian Zetterlund. Oh my God, this kid.
Yes. So, okay. Do you know what's funny about this though?
Huh?
Do you know who, like, in terms of defensive rating, like, is best out of the forwards on the Devils right now? Like, having like almost a Selke level season.
It's not Nico.
No, but Nico's really good. But the best defensive forward on the Devils right now, Tomas Tatar.
Good for Tatar.
Out of nowhere,
good for him.
He's been unbelievable this season for the Devil.
Good for him. He needed that.
Yeah, contract year for him.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oakvist is drawing into the lineup, and he's providing, things at both ends of the ice that they need.
It's a shame his brother's out for us.
Yeah. Nathan Bastian provides that nastiness that they like to see on the 4th line.
Dawson Mercer speed.
Yep. Miles Wood, his speed. They're just they're a perfect mix of physical fast, skilled.
They have a goalie for once.
A goalie. they play a very fresh, new school style of hockey.
Yes.
With a lot of old school concepts in there.
Well, it's funny because like the Devils hockey that I immediately think of is the trap, right?
Oh my God.
Like when you say Devils hockey, I think trap hockey. But then you look at how they play now, and it's a polar opposite.
Would you like to guess who scored?
Oh no.
Would you like to guess?
I don't know, would I?
Would you like to? Who would you guess if you had to?
Or who?
Montreal.
Arbor Jacki.
No.
Cole Caulfield.
No.
David Savard.
That would be really funny. It's not that funny, but no.
No. Who is it?
Josh Anderson.
Oh, hey, there's a prediction you got right.
I hate it when I'm right.
I hate it when I'm right. But yeah, the Devils are freaking rolling, and I actually kind of love this.
Yeah.
And did you see, just to put a bow on it, you saw their tweet revealing the Twitter admin, right?
I did not.
It's like a sketch thing, and I'm not entirely sure if this is like 100%, like if it was just for the sketch or if he actually does this.
Mm-hmm.
Dougie Hamilton.
Love it.
Like what wasn't Matheson doing Twitter stuff for the Habs recently?
Mm-hmm.
Dougie doing Twitter stuff for the Devils is so good.
That's pretty awesome.
And there's a great clip where he's just like...
Speaking of Jacki, real quick, just got into a fight with Matthew Olivier.
Oh, fun. Good for those two. But it's like, oh, there's the Josh goal for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, there's this great clip of him just asking, what are you up to? And he's just like, just making some fire memes. He just turns and he's just like, does this Dougie Hamilton smirk. Right?
Yeah.
And I just saw the clip where he's just like, just making some nice fire memes. And the reply to that was, this needs framed in a museum. I think this was a good show. This was a good second show under the network.
Yep.
Shout out to all our HockeyPodNet peeps.
Yep, we appreciate it.
We love you all. Don't forget to use code THPN at DraftKings.
Yep. Hopefully this team can overcome another game that they blew up 2-0.
Come say hi to me on Sunday. We'll have another show Saturday. I'll remind you all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But come say hi to me on Sunday. And we'll see you Saturday night. Love y'all.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.